Ayo, let's begin. And might be a bit optimistic, but I'm gonna aim to wrap this up today. I.e. the Sten creature generation using the our newly implemented runtime graph and our newly implemented editor graph using Unity Graph Toolkit. And we were in the process of implementing a node that can do this and this and this. So a node that can set material properties. It can be a color, a vector, and whatnot. The editor version of it looks like, where do we have it here? Property name. So this is the name in the shader. We might want to specify that eventually. And then we have input type. Decides the type of the input here, or actually like the property we want to set. So let's rename this one. It's our first task today. Input type. Property type and type display name. What can I spell today? Property. Yes. So when we convert this one to a runtime node, I thought about, let's see here. Okay, great. I thought about having it like this. So the set material property runtime node has a generic type, and the generic type is the type we set in the material. But if we want to set something, a property in the material, we have very, very specific methods for it. We have set buffer, color. So depending on the type, we have specific methods we need to call. Which means that even though we do something very nice like this, we are gonna have to cast it or figure out what kind of type it is eventually. So maybe we can do something similar as we did in random runtime node, that we just have something like this. So here we have a generator class, which is an abstract class, and generates int and float and stuff like this. It's the generate method here that is the biggest difference, I reckon. Then we also have a can output just to make sure, because we want to check here if the generator can output it. So I'm thinking of doing something like this, but then again, we are gonna have a lot, and I mean a lot of nodes that we're going to have a lot of nodes that take various inputs and outputs various outputs. So depending on how it's set up in the graph, it can be float, vector 3, whatever. And so we're going to have to find a nicer way to handle it. And I'm thinking that maybe utilizing this as opposed to the solution we had in random runtime node is the way to go. I mean, we can try it and see how it looks. Eventually, we're gonna have to do, depend, what kind of types do we have? Texture 2D. I wonder if we can have texture 2D, maybe. We can try it. So then we're gonna have a private U value, and we're gonna take it here, U value, and then we do can output U. I hope this will work because it's pretty nice actually. Then again, one other thing. We're gonna do it like this. So we try to get input material, and then we're gonna try and get input U. Whoa, yeah, we're not gonna have this one here or here. We're actually gonna get it as input. So what I was about to say previously is, I haven't really decided how I want to handle this as well. So some nodes are gonna get their input from another node. Some nodes are gonna get their input from here. I want both options to be available. Currently, so for this one, for instance, we haven't implemented in the runtime getting these inputs from somewhere else. But I guess we will eventually. So for now, for this one, for instance, we are not going to implement setting the values directly here. So yeah, don't exactly know how I want to handle that just yet. But okay, let's continue with this one. So we don't want to get the value in the constructor or send it in the constructor. Can't we do it like this? Oh, it's already used. Oh yeah, we have that. See, input value. I wonder if we're gonna get a warning here. Try get input U, ref input value, that we haven't instantiated it. 1, and we want to cache it. Exactly. Oof, how do we solve this? Because it can be... Would it be better to have out here? Or does that make no difference? Can we do this? No. We're gonna have to add some constraints to this generic type if we want to continue with this. Although I'm not sure I know what that would be. The thing is, that this can both be a value type and a reference type. And that is what sucks. Could we do... Or can we do... could add some type of container class, but that's a little bit over the top, I think. Or we could actually instantiate it here. Could we not? Fucking hell. Is this... maybe. So we do this. And then we remove this one. Maybe this is the way to go. So here we give it the default value. Huh. And then we just reuse this one here. Maybe. It's not too bad. But here comes the ugly part, I think, because here we're gonna have to do some type switch type of u case. Fuck, can we do... Feels like I've been asking this question a lot. Can we do this type case matching? Oh yeah, wasn't it? Ah, we can actually do it like this. We're gonna have a switch case, I guess. If u is float, or we start with int value. We do it like this. As 1 sec, I'm pretty sure we did this. Yeah, we don't want to do U here. We want to do input value. Else if input value is float value, I mean, it will work. Depending on how often we have to do this, we might want to find a better way to do it. I think it was only these, and then we have int, float, vector 2, vector 3, vector 4, color. It's a lot. One way to do it, probably not the best. And then we want one additional here with 3. I mean, yeah. And then we return a material. I think this is a runtime node we want. Later on, or in the editor node, when we create this one here, generation runtime node, here we also want one of these, but here we can do a switch case because here we actually have this value type here. Starting to think that we might want to pull this value type out and use it globally for our graph. Maybe. Random editor node, yeah, we want something similar to this. We change this one to return new set material property runtime node int. Oh yeah, we want to get the property name here as well. But this one we want to change to then we do property name and default is 0. Something like this. Mm-hmm. Probably missed something. Let's see what the compiler says. Yeah. So default. Default's always probably gonna be int. Okay, so I want to test this now, and I think we should be getting a random color of the eye and a random scale, but let's just check this export issue first. I'm wondering if we're missing polygons returned correct, dynamic mesh to mesh runtime node, dynamic mesh to transform. Okay, so this one is wrong. Dynamic mesh to transfer. Oh yeah, I think we skipped this one if I recall correctly. Yeah, so here we create a generator and then we return null. So let's return new random runtime node generator. I wonder if this is the only thing we... Keep ratio as well, okay. Or 1 sec. Okay, we want to do the keep ratio in the generators. We do it like this. And then we try to generate it. Okay, there we go. Yo, what's up, Antonino? Happy Friday, happy Friday. Yeah, no messages in chat today. It's a little bit quiet and empty, but it can be like that some days. And then in play here, node system tester. I'm just gonna duplicate this one. So hopefully we will get 2 creatures this time. Hopefully no errors, but we get an error. So let's take a look at that one. We do get 2 creatures though. Set material property runtime node input count 2, output count 1. A little bit worried here. I quit in the middle of something yesterday. Set transform. Actually, we have some. Let's do this. Let's stop this one, clear it, disable this one. Game object instantiate runtime node output. I'm wondering if it's this one or this one. No, it's probably this one. Set material runtime node 35. Sucks that we're getting an error here, but try get input material. Yeah, I'm wondering if we don't set material property editor node. Is it because we return false here? That's what I think. And I'm going to see if that is the case by doing a little bit of a bug log. I'm a little bit worried that we can't. Okay. So it's not this. Okay, that's good to know. Ah, can output. Yes. This is where I fucked up. Because what we want to output here is not you, but a material. We get a material as input, we set the property of that material, and then we output the material. Let's export it once more and play. Okay, failed. We don't fail anywhere. You know what? We're gonna do this. I wanna make sure. I think it's this one that fails, right? So we're just gonna remove it. Ooh. Okay, it's not that one that fails. That's even weirder. But okay. Just to make sure we can do this, right? Yeah. Okay. It's definitely not that one. That's good to know. Then I'm wondering if it's the random editor node. So I actually want to do this again. Let's remove this. And do we have any other randoms? No. Okay, and then we do this. So no random nodes connected. Good. Yeah, then it works. Okay. Great to know. Now I'm a little bit worried. So it's the runtime node that fails. No. It's the random runtime node that fails. Why though? Yeah, because generate output is... Now generate output is good. Input count 0, output count 1. We serialize the generator, and it's serializable, 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 serializable. Try get material from material instantiator. What sucks is that we fail. We instantiate this one, and then when we try to get this one, we fail. We don't even get a try get output from. So set material property. Set material property runtime node. We do generate output here. We get material. And, oh, one sec. Can output you. Random runtime node can output T. Yes. Yeah, okay, this is why I should never quit mid something. We weren't exactly done with this node yesterday. So when we ask what this node can output, random runtime node, we have game object here. Really? What we want to do instead is okay, I think we can just do generator dot can output t. Yeah, we don't want can we implement? Yeah, we don't even use type here, do we? So can output index 0, can output t. This is hopefully what was wrong. So let's export this once again and play. Okay, now it's another error. I guess that's progress. Dynamic mesh to polygons runtime node. Fuck, I thought we had this one done as well. Fail to generate, can't help. Okay, that's a okay fail log. Dynamic mesh to polygons. This one we have here. $31. Random transform from... Oh, is it this one that fails? Okay. We try to get the output from this one, but it fails. We ask for a vector 3, but that's not what we get. Yo, what's up, Cooler SK? We ask for a vector 3, but we actually want a transform, so it fails. Then we ask for a quaternion, it fails again. Then we ask for transform and it succeeds. But this one doesn't have its input yet. So we try to get output from dynamic mesh to polygons runtime node, this one, and this one fails for some reason. Which is... Well, you know what? Yeah, it has to be. And if I remember correctly, I think this one worked yesterday. So I'm still skeptical of this one actually being the cause of this error. Yo, what's up, Star Platinum? What's new? What's new? Not much. Trying to get a hang of Unity Graph Toolkit. You know what? What's weird is that if we do this, and we disable then we do not get an error. So this time around, this one works. Good to know. Yeah, so I still think it's... I'm wondering if the output order here is a little bit unfortunate. So I'm wondering if it actually goes like... That's not good at all if that's the case. I'm wondering if it goes... Try to get dynamic mesh to polygons editor node. This is the last one we get. And then I think this one, we're trying to get this, because we're doing this one, but to make this one, because I think we're doing a breadth first search, pretty much. Or that's how we iterate the graph. So we try to do this one, we try to get this output, but before we execute this node, we try to do this one, but we should get set material runtime node generated. Well, we actually generated the output here. Interesting. So this one, we already generate the output for this one. So this is done. Dynamic mesh to, let's see, where do we have this one? Dynamic mesh to polygons. Ooh. What the fuck? Content color seed. Input value 0. That's this one. Set material property. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna look into that. I wonder if it's because of the generic type. We will get to that soon. But it seems... Yeah, we can actually check if this one succeeds. Set material. This one succeeds. Okay. Game. Yeah, we get a value of 0 here. Okay. But the one I wanted to check was... Dynamic mesh to polygons. Runtime node. Has one input. And that's true. Maybe we can do this to see a little bit more, can we? Random transform from... Random transform from polygons. Inputs 1. Node. Yeah, so here we have it. Yeah, this one shouldn't have an in... actually it should. Why don't we have any... Why can't I check this one? Dynamic mesh to polygons. So here we can actually check the input. But from dynamic mesh to polygons, we cannot. Can we check dynamic mesh to bounds? Yeah, here we can. But here we can't. Dynamic mesh to polygons. Start planning. What kind of graph is that? I've never seen it. It's Unity's new graph toolkit, so you can develop your own editor tools using these visuals, and that's what we're doing. We're implementing a system for generating procedural creatures, basically. So we want to define how a procedural creature looks using nodes. And then during runtime, we want to be able to generate a lot of different creatures using this. It has been quite fun, but it has not been without issues. I'm a little bit worried about a few things here. First of all, this one not properly showing up here, I'm wondering if it's because that we have a generic type, which sucks, but it still works, I think. Or actually, let's do... I wonder if it's... If we do this and save and play... Okay, this we do get an error, the same error, right? We still can't see this one. Why the fuck not? Dynamic mesh to polygons. Oops. I think it fails here. Polygon list. Yeah, we never get to this one. Trying to get dynamic mesh for polygon list. Okay, beautiful. So it's when we try to get the dynamic mesh to this one. So that means that dynamic mesh to polygons. Dynamic mesh to polygons. Why doesn't this one wanna work today? Mesh internal name. Oh, could it be? That I fucked up with the IDs. Ah, that's a long shot. Yeah, of course we can't. Never mind. Or... Oh, one sec. Why can't we do this? Oops. Can I get the error message? Ah, we have dynamic mesh 2. Add input port dynamic mesh, add output port. So what if we do this then? Okay, it's not this one. What's up, Knilch? Can I hide this one? And then we add it back. Okay. What sucks about this... Look at this. Okay, this is weird. We gotta get to the bottom of this. I think I've fundamentally failed to take something into account. If we jump over this one, and we jump over these ones, save and play, then it works. So for some damn reason, let's try adding this one then, see if it works. So we skip this. Then it works. But the addition of these two is what fucks it up. Random editor node, when we try and set the scale, like we have no issues with this one currently. But when these two are in play, random editor node and set transform editor node. Set transform editor node, we use this one here as well. So, the fuck? This one for some reason. I take it. Random editor node. But we use this one here as well. Random editor node. Starting to think. Generation runtime node. Do we use some weird IDs here? to runtime node. Additional output type. Why? Starting to think. Why does this one get fucked up if these two are added? I'm wondering if... look at this. We can look at this as well. If we look at the generated scriptable object and we have dynamic mesh to polygons editor node. Let's see here. Dynamic mesh to... Or have I screwed? There we have it. Dynamic mesh to polygons runtime node. Inputs. Here we have one input now. Okay. So this one has one input. But if we add these two nodes and save it, and we go down to dynamic mesh to polygons here, now it doesn't have an input. I really don't want this to be an issue of my export script, but I'm starting to think it is. Set random editor node. Do we have two set random editor nodes here? Or just random runtime node? We have one here. Inputs. Yeah, of course. And we didn't serialize these. Okay, that's bad. We can... Yeah, we definitely need to do that. We're going to do that. So one thing we need to fix. Maybe that could be the cause of it. I don't think so, but we will check. Random runtime node. Where do we have the other one? Here we have the other one. Actually, we have generator, min, max. So this one is this one. Keep ratio, okay. And for this one, generator here is not serializable. We can fix that, although I don't think that's the cause of this issue. I'm gonna hope it is, though. Keep ratio, first of all. Keep ratio protected. Whoa, this is a little bit weird. Here we can't check the generator. So the float generator, this one we can't see. But the vector3 generator, so this one we can see. Serialize reference, system serializable, system serializable. Vector2 Is vector 2 serializable by default? Serialize field. I want to add a private here as well. I want to be explicit. Okay, let's see if this makes this less opaque. Save. And let's take a look. Random runtime generator. Here we have our int. Beautiful. We don't see keep ratio. We're going to add that one as well. And then we have random runtime nodes. So now we see both of these. That's good. And then keep ratio serialize field. Okay, vector 2 to 4 serializable by default, or visible by default. Int and float not. So this time around for our random runtime nodes, we have keep ratio here as well. That's good. So we found one issue. Keep ratio didn't work previously. It does now. I'm gonna try and run this, but I would be shocked if this is the issue. One more thing, actually. Where do we have... set transform runtime node. Okay. Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, let's run it again and see. Yeah, trying to get dynamic mesh from polygon list. We still have this issue. So if we look at this, with these two, we don't export this one properly. We don't get an output. Or we don't get an input connection, rather. I want to try vector 3. What if we just do vector set transform editor node? Is this our only set transform? Because now we have this one as well. But this one takes vector 3, so let's look into that. Let's transform runtime node. Random editor node. Is it this? Ooh, I want to see what happens here. We have some we have some pretty good logs when we export it. So let's see. Okay, interesting. Setting up random transform from polygons runtime node. Failed setting up output 0 to input 00 of node dynamic mesh to polygons. Here. So here, setting up dynamic mesh slicer runtime node. Then we're setting up output 0 to input 0 of dynamic mesh to mesh runtime node. That one is successful. Then we're setting up output 0 to input 0 of node dynamic mesh to bounce runtime node. And then when we try to set up this one to this one, it fails. What's up with the double zeros here? What the fuck is up with the double zeros? Failed setting up output I to input input index. Get input port index. Yeah, of course. What the fuck? Okay, so the double zero is my mistake. But why does it fail? So if input index is bigger than 0 and generation to runtime node contains key next editor node. We know that this one doesn't fail. So this one fails. Input index is still -1. Input port and next editor node. Get input port index. Something is fucked with this port. And I wonder if it's something I've done, or if we have some issue. It failed. And now we do one. Why does it fail? Input index is actually 0 because we print it here. So that means that next editor node, yeah, we don't have this runtime node in the dictionary because we haven't set it up yet. Could it be that the order is fucked? That we go this one, and then up here to this one, but we can't set this one up because we're doing depth first. Let's see, setting up. Oh. And let's see, setting up game object to creature, add a child, set material, set transform, set material, set transform, set collider, and then we do material instantiator. I think it's this one. Then we do set transform this one, random this one. We do breadth first. Set mesh runtime node. Okay, so we reach this one first up here, and that's why it fails. Okay, that's a bad way to parse it. So if we don't have these two, this one has a depth of 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that explains it. Oof. Yeah, that's a rough one. Holy shit. Yeah, best bet is probably... Okay, we're gonna have to rework this one to start with the start nodes and go next node. So we start by adding this one and this one and this one and this one and this one because they don't have any input. And so we instantiate those, then we instantiate... Yeah, but then we're gonna add this one. We don't have these yet. Going backwards, I thought that would be the preferable way, like we do. I mean, the most straightforward answer is to just check when we instantiate a runtime node. Do we have all the next nodes for this one yet? If not, put it at the end of the list, instantiation list. But there has to be a cleaner way. While unvisited editor nodes, the queue. I mean, what we could also do, which is probably not that dumb, is to just go through each node and instantiate them. And then we go through them again, or the runtime nodes, or we go through them again and just fix the connections. I mean, is there really a reason to try to be special in this case? It's a non-runtime thing. Prior one, I should always be, but specifically in this case, just to make it work. Performance is not that important, so if we loop it through twice, that's okay. But what are the drawbacks other than that? Yeah, maybe that is the... I don't know. Let's see. So we just instantiate all nodes, and then we go through the connections pretty much. Back to... So from this one, back here. That would probably... we would probably have to do the least changes then. The only problem, yeah, so then we can, I think we can get all nodes from, so it's graph get nodes, yeah. Let's just do graph get nodes, that's all our nodes. Then we instantiate all of them. And then we find the end node, which we do here. Or pick a random one. We take the end node, and that's when we go back and pair them up. Yeah, let's try it. For each generation editor node, input editor node in, get input nodes, and queue. Yes. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. So basically, end node. Yeah, let's get this one the first thing we do. Because if we can't find it, we just want to exit. So basically, runtime graph. Yeah, we can wait with instantiating this one as well. We create this. I still think I want it as a dictionary, but we'll see. And then we just do for each. No. For each editor node. Get nodes here. Okay, it's probably gonna look something like this. Generation, editor node, node in graph dot get nodes dot link. Oh, what is it? Select n as generation editor node to list. We don't need to do to list. So we do it like this. And then we do generation to runtime nodes. Add node and node to runtime node. So that's about it. We just instantiate them all. And then we're going to start with this fancy stuff. We're going to go with a queue again. We want to enqueue the end node. And we want to do while we still have nodes here. So I guess we have to be a little bit careful parsing this one, because we don't want to do all of this. I want to have some standard of optimization, even though it's not a runtime thing. But I don't want to go through multiple nodes many times. So in this case, previously, we're going to take previous node, we get this one, we add it to unvisited nodes. When we do this one, we're also going to add it to unvisited nodes. When we get this one, we're also going to add it to unvisited nodes. And that's why the dictionary is We can check if it's in queue, but that takes a lot of time. We can add a... We can actually add a flag in this one if it's done. Instantiating. And notice done when it has its input and outputs, but we go from the front backwards. So should we just add a hash set actually? Yeah, why not? Triangle. So if we just add a hash set visited. But then again, yeah, let's see here. Output is, or input is actually, is always only one. It's never many to one. It's always 1 to 1. Output can be 1 to many. Very important. So that means that we can check, we always only instantiate, yeah, we always pull for information. So when we go through and fix the connections for this one, we only fix the input connections. So the output connection gets fixed when this one tries to fix its input connections. The only downside with this, however, it's not that important either, but if we have a decoupled network like this, we're actually gonna instantiate these. Or are we? Yeah, we're gonna instantiate them, but not connect them. You know what? That's gonna bother me a little bit, but not more than making it into a future task. What do we call it? Creature generation runtime graph. Editor graph though. So I think by doing this, we can probably clean this one up quite a bit as well. So unvisited editor nodes, we enqueue this one, and then we want hash set generation editor node visited editor nodes. the first thing we do is we want to dequeue editor node. And then we want to check this. If visitor editor nodes contains this one, then we continue. If it doesn't, we haven't parsed its inputs. We don't need to make it a runtime node. We don't need to add it. So let's see here. Yeah, we're gonna do a lot of changes here. Editor node, output port count. We actually want to go backwards, right? So we want the input. Fuck, I think this is gonna be way nicer. So let's take this one and change editor node output port count to input. I think we should have, maybe we can make it, one sec, let's take a look at the documentation here. Graph Toolkit node API. Port, can I get to features? Okay. Okay, let's do this then. inode API. Here we go. Node. Get input port, get output. Okay. Get input ports, I port. Okay, beautiful. So I think, do we need I here? I wonder if we need it. Let's see here. We get I port. I port, get connect, try. Get connected ports. Yeah, so my logic tells me that I want to get the first connected port. One sec. I get value. Okay, I get it. So I think we want to do first connected port, but then again, then we just get an I port again. Output port count. Yeah, we create connection like this. That's okay. Ah, we want the I here. Yeah, that's true. Okay, let's not go too much off script. I editor node input port count. Yo, what's up, Yaman? And then we're gonna wait with this one. Let's see here. Output port editor node, get output port I. And then we get connected ports. Get connected ports. Gives us an I port. Input. I port get node. Where the hell do we have get node? Is that? Oh, never mind. Yeah. Where do we have the get node? Okay, so iPort has get node. Why can't I see get node here? Like, if we could solve this by excluding this method or not using it, then I would be very happy. So the idea is that, yeah, for this one, when we want to create the connections, we get all the ports, so this one, and then we want to get connected port, so this one, and then we want to get the node of this one, and then we want to get the output index. And if we get all of these, we can create the connection and we're done. That's what this method does. So we could just go the same route, get this port, then we get this port, then we get the node, then we check what the index of the port is. Fuck. And if I do I port get node Unity Graph Toolkit, inode extensions. Why? What? So I imagine there's some reason why it's structured like this. And I really want to know that reason. Why do we have the class, the interface? Depends on which one's oh. Yeah, okay, we're gonna have ports. We're gonna have classes that implements iPort that doesn't have a parent node, I reckon. But still. Feels like this could be a method in the iPort interface. No? Right? I don't know. But okay, we have get node, and if we have a node, iPort definition context. If we have a node, we have input port count, node options, output port count, get input port by name, get input ports, get option. Now we're gonna have to rely on get input port index, but that's input ports. We get output port index this time around. So yeah, we create this one, input port count. We want to create the connection, but we're gonna wait a bit because we need the I. So it's gonna look like input port, editor node get input port, I, connected ports, input port get connected ports, connected ports. Let's just take this one and see what we have. Yeah, we want to double check this. Input port, previous editor node. I'm gonna wait with changing all. I want to go through, and we're gonna rename this one. This one we can probably rename now. Output index. Node port. Then we loop through them. If is equal to port, then output index return true, otherwise return false. Okay. Previous editor node input port. Yeah. Right. If output index is bigger than 0. And generation to runtime nodes contains key previous editor node. Otherwise, we failed setting up input I to output index of node previous editor node. Okay, so now the error is fixed. Otherwise, we do generation to runtime nodes. See here, editor node, add input. We want to create the connection. So the connection is to previous, so that's previous editor node, and it's the output here. Oh, actually, do we just add it like add input? Okay, previous editor node, but not I here. Instead, we want output index. I'm pretty sure. Generation to runtime nodes. Add editor node. Add input connection. Fucking hell. Add input connection input index. Yep. Yeah, this is much nicer. Input index is I. Oops, not there. Here. And then setting up input I to output index of node. Previous editor node get type 2 string. Something like this. And then we dequeue from unvisited here. Never add to visited. So this is much better. We need to add we need to add to unvisited as well. Problem as I see it, however, is get node. Yeah, this one should always be 1. If unvisited editor nodes contains previous editor node, but we want to do if it doesn't. But fuck, we want to check if visited as well. Is that enough actually? That is probably enough. So if visited editor nodes does not contain this one, then we add it to unvisited. But this one might contain it as well. So I guess it would be better to check both. Or we could just wait for this while to remove them. I didn't think it was possible, but I think this one is like this one is even uglier than this one currently. Hmm. Yeah, but unvisited nodes in queue. I guess there's going to be a lot of dequeuing, but that's okay. Okay, let's try it. Let's check for compiler errors. A few. Cannot convert, yeah, previous editor node. Interesting. Okay, we're gonna double check a few things here. Okay, hopefully we don't have a never-ending, but what if? Okay. One sec, I just need to get some courage. Okay, let's try it, I guess. No errors, iterations 21. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 21? That's like best case scenario. Setting up input 0 to output 0 of node, add child runtime node. Yeah, I would like this debug message to be a little bit clearer. Setting up input of okay, so here, yeah, okay, yeah. Setting up input 0 of node creature game object to creature runtime node to output 0 of add child runtime node. Input 0 to output 0 of set material. And then we have add child. Setting up input 1 to output. Okay, I want to check. Ah, fuck. We might as well run it and see if it works. Yeah, not really. Try to get output from node dynamic mesh to mesh runtime node. Fail to generate. Okay. That's not very good. We can check here. Oh, is it because of the order? I'm wondering. Do we have game object to creature? Game object to creature runtime node inputs element 0. Hmm. Hmm. Everything looks pretty good here. But when we run it, however, we get this. So it's pretty much like this one asks for this one's output. That's weird. But if we look here, game object to creature, this one has one input and that one's has two inputs. Index. Mm. So why does this one has... so this one has game object to creature. Okay, it actually only has... Now this one has two inputs. This one has two inputs. This one does not. How did I manage to screw this up this bad? Yo, what's up, GDs? We're just doing some graph parsing here. How about you? And what the fuck? When we export it, we get the correct logs, don't we? Setting up input 0 of node, this one. So input to output 0 of add child. Hmm. I don't know. So we get the correct logging here. Setting up input I of node to output. GDs, where should I begin? I'm getting a PhD in unit serialization. That's very niche. Love it. Had a 2-day battle trying to fix some issues with custom editor tooling for my asset. If it wasn't for ChatGPT, I would have lost. I'm glad to hear that you won that battle, at least. Do you have any nuggets of information you want to share? So next year I don't sit here during this stream and have the exact same battle. I'm wondering if it's because of this one. Nah. shouldn't matter in what order, right? And nodes first, try get output creature. Okay, what I think is happening, or no, that's probably not what is happening. GD is actually yes. If you're changing the serialized object and applying changes, sometimes you need to explicitly rebind the fields. If it is, for example, a list and you're manually updating the array size. Did we get any failed? No, we don't. Like all of these logs, the generation information we get here is correct. Nodes correct. So when we run it, the fuck happens? GDs, you will remember it the first time your custom property drawer shows up as empty. Can you break point and step into? We can probably, but like, I wouldn't even know where to begin, honestly. GDs, I'm also a console log developer. Yeah, debug log in my case. It works wonders. Yeah, like actually stepping in, that's like a last resort for me. Maybe I should finally start becoming more comfortable with it. It's just that my experience with it is Not the best. But this is actually extremely weird. Yeah, I'm starting to think I know the issue, actually. Although I'm not entirely sure why. We get that one. Okay, I know why. I know why. This is such a stupid issue. So, the issue is that previously we populated this dictionary with the end node, this one first. So when we get the values of it, like this, we get the first one the one we added first, I guess, in this specific case, as our, like, the first index node. And when we try and run the graph, the first thing we do is we get the first node and we try and get output creature. This time around, however, the first node, we added them in a little bit of a different order. So the first node is not the game object to creature node, and we fail. So what we can do as a quick fix, just to make sure that this is the issue in question, is we add one of these and we do public list, not list, but we do generation runtime node start node. And when we export this one, we explicitly set runtime graph dot start node to be equal to our end node, but not our end node, because that's an editor node, but this. Now we should iterate the graph in the correct way, although one sec. This one, generation to runtime nodes. But I didn't call it end node, did I? Yeah, I did, end node. There we go. Totally nothing there. Do you like onions? Onions are the best, man. Smack GG's, nowadays the debugger in VS Code stays connected to Unity without any problems. Fucking hell, we might do a deep dive into it. Start using it more. Oops. Yeah, okay, now we have the information, but we don't utilize it. So when we start here, we do nodes dot start node, try get output. Let's just export it again to make sure and play. We don't get an error. We slice it, we add the eye. I'm still a little bit, I wonder if we're getting a random eye color. Let's see it, and a random scale. No errors, that's good. So let's enable this one again and play it again. So now we're generating 2 of these creatures. The eye is located in, I think it's located in different places, but it's not that visible. And we have different colors for them, so that's nice. Let's try again. Now we get a little bit more of a variation going. Okay, beautiful. I'm actually pretty happy that we found this issue today and not way further down the line. A lot of good news at the same time here. We now have a proper export algorithm. And we now have a lot of new working nodes. Dynamic mesh to polygons, dynamic mesh to transform, random transform from polygons, set material property, and set transform runtime nodes. Although, one sec, we don't get varying scale here. Why don't we get varying scale? Because we haven't clicked this one, set scale. Export it, play. Now we get some smaller eyes, varying positions. Great. Okay. Unfortunately, this little hiccup makes it such that we won't be able to finish this one today. Have some additional time. So we're gonna have to finish it next week. But let's take a look at this graph. We have this one, we have this one, we have this one, this one, this one, this one, kind of. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. I think we have all the nodes. The implementation of them. We haven't added all of them to the graph, so we only use this one once. We want to use this one and this one as well. We're going to get to it. So the last problem, I just want to mention it. I don't think we're going to start it today. That's for Monday or Tuesday. But like all of these nodes, I want to be able to repeat them without utilizing the cache. That's going to be a pain. And then we also, when we generate a random transform, when we have done all of these, we want to have a failsafe here. If the generated eye does not fit inside of the polygon, then we want to throw it away, basically. So it's a little bit of a brute force approach. Would be nicer if we could handle it in some better way, I guess. Maybe we can. But the repeating here is going to be a pain, I think. Or you know what? I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to add a repeat node, which repeats everything before it, not using the cache. And that repeat node is going to take as input, it's going to take another node, and that's like the stop node. So we have a repeat node here. So we repeat this one, 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 and this one. And then when we try to repeat this one, we see that it's actually set up as the end node. So we quit this one. Yo, what's up, Craig? How long do you stream per session, and how much of the dev process are you planning to stream? Lately, unfortunately, my sessions are only about 3 hours long. I hope to be able to do a little bit of a longer sessions dev process. So pretty much everything, right? And that's something I want to, like, I want to keep it like that. I want to stream most, if not all, of the dev process. I think about it like this: if I have the time to do a longer dev session for this game, why not stream it, right? Fuck, I really do. Okay, yeah, Monday is gonna, or Monday or Tuesday, I don't know when the next stream will be, but it's gonna be very exciting. We're gonna try and implement a repeat node. Yeah, repeat node is always also gonna output whatever it inputs. So I would love for this to be available. I'm gonna have to do some research, implementing variant inputs to nodes. So I just want to have one input port, and then I can drag or connect it to pretty much any type, right? Jax, what's up, what's up? Just having fun with my pet lizard. Nice to hear, nice to hear. Hope the pet lizard is having fun as well. Craig, if it makes you more focused, definitely. Yeah, probably we derail sometimes, but most of the time it's pretty focused. Okay, so let's try and add a couple of more set material property nodes. So that's going to be located quite good as well. So for this random node, we want to, let's see the previous implementation. For this node, we want to randomize, we have already randomized the content color seed. So now I want to randomize the bounds. The bounds are a... Oh yeah, I just used this one to hide it this time around. I think it's a vector 2, but it doesn't really matter. Bounds. Actually, let's just do it like this. Vector 3. Vector 3. And I'm just going to randomize this one as 0, 0, 0 for now. And then we have background color here. Material color property setter. Did we just do random here? I want to take a look at this one. Modules. Generation module material. So this was the previous implementation we had. Fuller scale lizard question mark. Yeah, you're gonna have to pull more information from Jax. He usually hangs around both in YouTube and Twitch. Or jumps between them. Yeah, we just did random color like this. And now when I think about it, I don't think we have random color. Let's implement that real quick. random editor node color is equal to 5. Color. I think that's all we need to do here. Unfortunately, the runtime version of this node is going to be a bit worse. Let's take this one and copy it. Color generator, color min, color max. We probably want to have a fucking hell. I think eventually implement with gradient. Oh, that would be very cool if we could implement it with a gradient. Min max type of color, degenerate, so keep ratio, return I guess here then we want, yeah, let's do new color. Keep ratio, then we just want to do mathf.lerp min.r max.rt. I think we're not going to take the alpha into account. And if we don't have ratio, then we return new color. Like this. Okay, I think that's it for the runtime node. So let's just copy this one. If it's color, we do color. Okay, compiler, what do you say? First try, okay. Because what I want to do then is set material editor node. Want to duplicate this one, and we want to do color. Keep ratio. Why? No. We don't want to keep ratio. We want to take color as input here, like this. And it's not the color property, it's the background color property. And I think that's it. We're gonna do upper bounds white. But you know what? We will just get grayscales if we do it like this, won't we? Yeah, random color doesn't really work that well with randomizing it like this. Okay, let's do red. Alpha doesn't matter. And I don't know, blue. So the eyes should have a color between red and blue, if this works now. Don't really see. Okay, we have some issue here. Failed to generate. Okay, we failed to generate a lot of stuff here. So unfortunately I did something wrong with the color. Could be this one as well. Could it be? I have no idea what it could be. Random runtime node. Let's see what the log says. Okay, we get failed to generate set material property vector 3. So we failed with vector 3 and color. Yo, what's up, sick? Nostalgia. I watched earlier but can't watch straight. My vibe coding brain can't handle just jealousy. I appreciate it. Set material, yeah, okay, so the vector and color outputs, for some reason we aren't able to generate the outputs in the correct way here. Float works. So the question is it set material property editor or random editor node? That is wrong. Set material property. Set material property. I thought it could be this, but doesn't seem like it. I wonder if actually we have random editor node here. But it's a set I wonder if it's related to having a something other than float as input to set material property editor. Value type. Maybe. But let's see here. Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about this. But I'm gonna have to pick this thread up next week because I need to run. A little bit sad that we didn't manage to finish this up in this week. But we're gonna finish it up next week instead. It's not that much left. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. I appreciate it. And have a great weekend, everybody. Peace.